So why Indonesia and why specifically this bank?
Thank you. Good to be back in your live studio. This is a very exciting opportunity for us. Indonesia, we feel that it's one of the most important markets for the next decade. Very large population, 270 million population. At the same time, right, 180 million of them are tech-savvy young adults who are already buying everything, transaction, ride-hailing online. And I think there's a lot of opportunities that we can do riding on the success of our first bank launch in Hong Kong in 2018. There's a long-term strategy to extend into Indonesia.
And yet the Hong Kong market is pretty different, right? Especially talking about scale. So what gives you an edge in Indonesia?
I think Hong Kong being an international financial center, we're actually quite fortunate that the Hong Kong MA issued digital banking licenses ahead of most of their Southeast Asian counterparts. So when we got our license, we've been spending the last 3 years building the technology, know-how. It is actually quite different running a traditional bank and building a digital bank, right? And we can actually extend these know-hows, achieve economies of scale as we enter into multiple markets opportunities. And in particular, right, for us, in addition to having a head start, right, we already have an Indonesia business. We have a joint venture with Astra in Indonesia since 2019, where we already have 3 million users. It's broken even already. So we can leverage on a lot of these existing and new partners to expand into Indonesia. And if you look at the market, right, there are a couple of digital banks and existing banks going into digital. But it is still at a nascent stage. Most of them have a few 100,000 or a million-ish users. If you look at like a whole population of 270 million, right, there's actually still a lot of opportunities.
So where next? Either regionally or in Southeast Asia specifically?
I think for the whole, excuse me, I think for the whole Southeast Asia, there's still a lot of opportunity for digital banking. If you look at multiple jurisdictions from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, a lot of these markets are just talking about digital banking license or just issued the first 1 or 2 digital banking licenses, and many of them have not even opened for business yet. So if we can leverage on the Hong Kong opportunity and extend it to Southeast Asia, right, I think the aspiration is to build a pan-Asia digital bank in the next couple of years where we can cover multiple markets and move faster than everyone else.
Anything you can tell us about a potential IPO? What sort of valuations and numbers would you be looking at?
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking at this for a while now. We were actually planning to do something this year, but I think because with this major acquisition, we want to complete it first. I think it will make a lot of sense, and it's part of our long-term story and vision, right, where we build a digital bank and combine it with our already very profitable online lending platform that we have around 50 million users, right?
Would it be in Hong Kong?
We keep an open mind. We're keeping an open mind. I think there are a lot of options right now, and the market is very, very dynamic. But I think right now the important thing is to launch this digital bank. We hope to be able to do so in the second half of next year.
Do you have any specific financial and growth targets given how quickly you're expanding?
Yeah, we do, absolutely. I think, once again, right, if you look back at this particular Indonesia opportunity, right, the Indonesia the opportunity for digital bank actually will give us a very, very outsized growth potential. If you look at it, right, the market as a whole, top 4 banks account for only 55% of the banking market. So that gives us a lot of room for growth as a digital bank to consolidate market shares for the rest of it. And even as such, right, when you look at a Hong Kong example, when we launched a Hong Kong digital bank, actually majority of the fund inflow came from top banks as well. So both the large banks consolidating this, or customers trying digital banks, and at the same time, right, consolidating the digital banking or deposit market shares from the subsequent the long tail of the other banks as well, right? So we feel that there's actually a lot of things we can do.
So you don't expect any regulatory risks in Indonesia?
Well, the regulatory side is definitely something that we've been looking at. We've been talking to different internal and external stakeholders on this as well. But this is, if you look across Asia, across the board, right, I think regulators are pretty supportive on launching a digital bank, a regulatory regime. I think since 2018, when we got our Hong Kong license, we've been talking to other regulators around the region as well, so that they understand how it regulates digital banks. And I think the interesting thing is, with COVID, because of the acceleration acceleration of online financial services when people cannot visit branches, financial inclusion become an even more important subject. That's why a lot of markets are actually accelerating that. But I think the challenges in Indonesia for us, right, is not just that piece, right? I think there's also a piece that, in addition to understand the regulatory regime, is talents. There is how do we get the right talent on digital banking, because it's such a new opportunity. And the other challenge, I think, in Indonesia is consumer education. It took us quite a good few years to educate the market in Hong Kong about digital banking, and I think Indonesia will go through the same too.